The Varn Empire was feared across the galaxy. They had crushed dozens of civilizations, burned worlds, destroyed fleets. Their motto was simple: no one speaks, only the Varn command. So when their fleet arrived in an uncharted system near the galactic edge, they expected nothing, just another forgotten sector, another nameless planet to mine or burn. The Varn command ship, Bloodfire, drifted into orbit above the third planet in the system. It was lifeless. At least that's what their scanners said. No life signs, no energy readings. But the surface? It was strange. Ruins, not just random rocks, but actual cities, collapsed towers, burned streets, shattered glass domes. This is ancient, said Commander Vesger, leader of the patrol fleet. His scales glistened under the bridge lights. Too organized to be natural. Too dead to matter. Is it human? One officer asked, a note of caution in her voice. Commander Vesger laughed, a deep rumbling growl. Humans? Extinct for over 1,000 cycles. This is just rubble. The rest of the crew chuckled with him. The Varn had seen Earth fall, or so they believed. They had read the old reports. Earth was one of the last human strongholds during the final war. When the Varn Empire swept through Sector 9, Earth's defense grid had gone silent. No human ship had been seen since. So why worry? Vesger ordered a recon drone. Send it down to scan the ruins. Maybe we'll find some salvage. The sleek, black drone shot from the ship's underbelly and dropped through the planet's thin atmosphere. It reached the surface in less than a minute. Its camera streamed footage back to the Bloodfire's main screen. Dust blew across broken streets. Collapsed. Towers leaned like bones. Signs and faded human text were barely readable. Eden Colony Zone 4. More laughter erupted on the bridge. A colony? They called this Eden? What fools! But then the feed cut to static. The bridge fell silent. Vesger leaned forward. Did we lose connection? No, Commander, said the technician. Her hands trembled. The drone received something. A transmission. The static cleared. On screen. A black screen appeared with a single line of white text. This is Earth. Do not proceed. The room went cold. Silence. Not even breathing. What did it say? Vesger growled. The message repeated. This time, a voice came with it. A deep, calm human voice. Clear, calm, unafraid. This is Earth. Do not proceed. Then the screen went dark. The bridge lights flickered. One by one, consoles shut down. Power dropped. The Bloodfire's engines powered off. Every ship in the fleet, 15 vessels strong, reported similar failures. We're under attack. Someone shouted. But no weapons had fired. No torpedoes. No lasers. Just a voice, a warning, and then total system failure. On-board panic, Vescar roared, slamming his claw into the side of his command chair. Reboot all systems. His crew scrambled. One of the junior officers yelled, emergency power is gone. Backup cores are ... locked out. Someone has control. How is that possible? Vescar shouted. We're the Varn Empire. Who dares touch our systems? A new screen flashed in front of him, hacked directly into the command display. One word, just one. Remember. The screen blinked off. Then everything came back online exactly 5 seconds later. Engines powered up. Weapons, systems rebooted. But now, the fleet was surrounded. Not by ships. But by strange orbs. Dozens of them. Black. Floating. Silent. Each. One had the same symbol. An ancient Earth flag. Blood red and silver. A single phrase below the flag. In perfect Varn language. We told you not to proceed. A past they forgot. No one spoke. No one moved. Commander Vesger stared at the screen. sweat running down his scales. "We need to leave," his second-in-command whispered. "But ... It's just drones," Vesker replied, still trying to sound in. "Control. They can't harm us. They're just projections." "Old tech." "Sir," the comms officer said, "the flagship Judicator just vanished." "What?" "She's gone. Not destroyed. Not exploded. Just disappeared." Everyone on the bridge turned toward the view screen. One of the Varn cruisers was just gone. No explosion. No flash. Just empty space where it had been. More drones appeared. Hundreds. Now, circling the fleet like sharks. Vesker felt something he hadn't. In decades. Fear. Earth single quotes S last defense. Launch all fighters. Vesker roared. Dozens of Varn interceptors shot out of the hangars. They moved fast, darting between the black orbs. One orb pulsed. A ripple of energy passed through 3 Varn fighters. They didn't explode. They just stopped. Engines died. Canopies froze. Then the fighters turned around under external control. One by one, the fighters began to attack the Varn fleet, their own ships. The bridge shook. Boom. 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 3 secondary ships went down. Screaming filled the comms channel. "Systems hacked. We're being taken over. Pull back. Pull back." But it was too late. The enemy hadn't fired a single shot from a manned vessel. They didn't need to. Earth, this dead world, had something else. Something old. Something watching. And it had been waiting. The human voice returns a final message played across all Varn ship screens. Every console. Every helmet. Every data pad got the same calm human voice. "We were silent for a reason. You should have let us sleep." The image of a human soldier appeared. Black armor, red visor. No face visible. Behind him stood the ruins of Earth. And yet, the image was moving. Someone had to be alive to send. The voice spoke again. "This is not a warning. This is judgment." The retreat. Vesker didn't hesitate. Retreat. Now. Engines flared. The remaining ships turned, fleeing from orbit. The black orbs didn't follow, but a final signal tracked them. All the way back to Varn space. And deep within the ruins of Earth. A hidden bunker sealed itself shut. Its lights flickered. A mechanical voice echoed inside. Phase 1. Complete. The bridge of the Varn battleship Korath was unusually quiet. The crew stared at their screens, trying to make sense of what had just happened. A simple drone sent to scan a supposedly dead world had triggered something. They didn't understand. Captain Vrekos, a tall and scarred veteran of the Varn war campaigns, stood with his arms behind his back. His thick, scaled skin shimmered under the red lights of the control room. "This is Earth. Do not proceed," he repeated, mockingly, mimicking the audio message. "What kind of joke is this?" "No signal origin found," said sub-officer Keel, tapping his console. The source was ... spread. It came from every direction at once. "Impossible for human tech." "Impossible for old human tech," muttered the science officer Dreintal, his tendrils curling with unease. "But if they had grown in silence..." Captain Vrekos turned sharply. "That world is dead. Earth fell in the collapse. No one survived. No human could have lived through the energy storms, the plague wars, or the final bombardment. The ruins below prove it." Dreintal nodded slowly, but didn't look convinced. "I want systems back online," Vrekos ordered. "Now." Keel tried again to reboot the sensor grid. Nothing worked. Power flickered. Lights dimmed across the ship. And then ... the screens lit up not with Varn symbols, but with strange, blocky Terran script. One word: leave. Across the fleet on the other ships orbiting the third planet, confusion turned into panic. Engines refused to start. Weapons were unresponsive. Communication was scrambled. In the command ship Vorik, Admiral Kravnix, one of the most feared leaders in the Varan Ascendancy, watched helplessly as his fleet lost control. How can one signal cripple 5 warships? He shouted. His tech officer, a thin, trembling Varan, replied, "Sir, it's not one signal. It's many. Each layer is encrypted. Each response matches human cyber language patterns." "Humans are extinct," Kravnix growled. "Then something has learned to speak for them," the tech whispered. A new discovery back on Korath. The science team analyzed the ruins below. What they found changed everything. "Captain," Dreintel said, his voice dry, "these aren't just ruins. These are defense bunkers. Deep, shielded, still powered?" "Still powered?" Vrakos asked. "Yes," Dreintel said. "And they are growing." "What do you mean, growing?" "Subterranean construction bots. Automated. Very old tech, but enhanced. They are rebuilding the planet from the inside." Captain Vrakos stared at the image on the main screen. A network of tunnels pulsed beneath the surface, glowing faint blue, and then another message flashed on screen. "Last warning. Defiance Admiral Kravnix ordered an orbital strike. If someone or something was playing games, he would end it the way the Varan always did, with fire. Massive plasma cannons charged, fusion torpedoes locked onto the target. But as the weapons fired, nothing. Hit. The projectiles vanished mid-space." "Where did they go?" Vrakos demanded. "Redirected," Keel answered. "We're getting data. They've been absorbed." "Absorbed?" "Yes, sir. The enemy, if it is human, is controlling the space around the planet." A long pause followed. No one spoke. Then another signal came through. A voice. Calm. Human. "You were warned. Earth is not yours to conquer." Terror sets in one by one. The Varan ships began to shut down. Power drained. Lights dimmed. Emergency systems flickered weakly. Even life support showed strange fluctuations. Not all they could do now was watch. From the surface of Earth, giant pillars rose slowly from the ground-sleek towers, made of some strange, shifting metal. Energy crackled at their tips. "Sir," Dreintel said quietly, "that's not defense. That's awakening." Captain Vrakos swallowed hard. "Awakening what?" Dreintel looked at him with wide eyes. "Earth. A decision. Admiral Kravnix sent a fleet-wide message. Withdraw. Now." "No engines," his engineer reported. "No warp," said the nav officer. They were trapped. And something strange happened. One small escape pod, on the edge of the system, was allowed to leave. Just one. And inside it, a recording played on a loop. "Tell them." Ear. Word of the Varan fleet's failure spread faster than light. The galactic core worlds, always dismissive of Earth's legend, now whispered in fear. One escape pod, one warning. Earth remembers. No one knew what it meant, but the message spread like wildfire. The Terran homeworld, destroyed in the last age, was alive. And it had power. Power enough to disable warships, absorb plasma blasts, and hijack space itself. But to many, it was still a rumor, a myth. Another strange story from the edge of known space. Until Earth sent a message to everyone. The broadcast at exactly the same time. Across thousands of systems, every screen lit up. Military, civilian, commercial. Even unpowered satellites turned on without cause. A single, silent symbol appeared. A human hand, open, pale, floating in darkness. Then a voice, human, calm, powerful. "You trespassed. You mocked our silence. You brought death to our sky. We are still here, and we remember who turned away when the stars fell. Let this be known. Earth is no longer asleep." And then the symbol changed. The hand closed into a fist. The transmission ended, and the galaxy held its breath panic and denial on Von Prime. Panic erupted in the highest chambers of power. Admiral Krovniks, still recovering from shame and physical weakness, stood before the High Council. "This is no ghost," he said. "This is a power we do not understand. They disabled our fleet without firing a shot. They took our weapons mid-flight, and they left us alive to send a warning." The Varn speaker, a thick-skinned elder with golden crests on his head, growled, "Are you suggesting humans have technology beyond us?" "Yes," Kravnik said simply. The room burst into shouts, insults, denials. "Impossible. They were primitives. We crushed them long ago." But the evidence was there. 5 warships crippled, thousands of soldiers paralyzed. One signal undeniable. Kravniks turned to face them all. "If we do not respect Earth's warning, there will be no second chance." The search begins. Other species began sending covert probes toward Earth's system. The Shalari, masters of stealth tech, lost 3 cloaked scouts without explanation. No explosions. No signals. Just gone. The Zethari, a silicon-based hive species, tried to enter orbit with a diplomatic drone. It vanished mid-transmission. All data corrupted. And then, the Ashari, known for peace and long memory, released a statement. "We remember Earth. We stood beside them in their final war. If they live, we will not stand against them." That stunned the galactic community more than any weapon. If the Ashari feared Earth, then Earth was truly back. Inside the vault beneath Earth's shattered surface, deep in a mountain range once, called the Rockies, a vast underground vault had awakened. Inside, machines older than most empires hummed with new life. Chambers opened, satellites launched, and at the very center, behind a sealed chamber, a human figure slept, his body preserved, enhanced, and untouched by time. He had once been called Commander Elias Rain, supreme strategist of Earth's last war. Now, lights above him turned green. He opened his eyes. The sleeper wakes. Elias sat up slowly. The last thing he remembered was the fire, the cities burning, the silence of betrayal, the Varn fleet blotting out Earth's sun. And then, nothing. But now, everything had changed. A hologram appeared beside him. The AI voice was calm. "Commander Rain, awakening successful. Earth's enemies have returned. Defense protocol Iron Sky is active. Would you like a briefing?" He took a long breath. "Yes." The briefing. As the AI spoke, Elias learned the truth. Earth had fallen, yes, but not defeated. Before the final collapse, human scientists launched Project Ghost Core, hiding Earth's true infrastructure deep beneath the planet's crust. Autonomous systems built hidden factories, AI labs, and defense towers powered by geothermal energy and ancient fusion arrays. For thousands of years, Earth had watched, waited, learned. The AI had mapped every alien broadcast, every empire's weakness. Earth's silence wasn't defeat, it was strategy. And now, with the Varn's return, the protocols had awakened Elias, humanity's final commander. A message of his own. Elias stood before a control panel covered in dust and age. "Open a galactic channel," he said. The AI responded. "Encryption ready. All species, all languages. Proceed." He looked into the camera, eyes calm. "This is Commander Elias Rain of the Terran Defense Corps. Earth is alive. We have not forgotten who bombed our cities. We have not forgotten who turned away. We have not forgotten the screams. We are not seeking war, but if you come again, you will not find ruins. You will find judgment." He paused. Then added, "Test. You sinned, and we will teach you fear. The galaxy reacts." The galaxy exploded in chaos. Some laughed. Others prepared for war. Some begged for peace. But no one dared enter Earth's system again. Even the mighty Rigzari Empire, conquerors of 4 spiral arms, pulled their survey teams back. For the first time in ages, Earth was respected, not because of diplomacy or alliances, but because it had shown the one thing the galaxy couldn't ignore. Klon-controlled. The Varn flagship, Claw of Dominion, floated in low orbit above Earth's surface. Captain Tarsik sat in his command chair, still glaring at the dark screen where the strange transmission had once appeared. The voice, the calm human voice, kept replaying in his mind. "This is Earth. Do not proceed." The words were not a threat, not loud, not angry, but they shook him more than any war cry he had ever heard. The engineers were still scrambling to fix the systems that had been shut down by the signal. Weapons, shields, and even life support had flickered before rebooting minutes later. That wasn't just a message. It was a warning backed by power. "Status report," Tarsik demanded. His second officer, Yalzar, replied nervously. "Partial system recovery. But the AI core remains locked out of its deeper functions. We've never seen code like this. It's rewriting itself." Tarsik's clawed hand gripped the armrest. "Send in another drone. I want full scans of that ruined site. And this time, disable all communication links. No signal goes in or out." Yalzar hesitated. "Sir, what if it responds again?" Tarsik growled. "Then we learn more. Knowledge is power, and power belongs to the Varn." On the surface, Forbidden's ground, the second drone dropped into the Earth's atmosphere, this time coated in EME shielding and set to silent mode. It landed near the ancient ruins, a massive structure buried under layers of stone, ash, and time. But as it hovered close, something strange happened. The temperature dropped suddenly. Its thermal sensors showed no life, no movement. But it felt like something was watching. The drone's lights flickered. Static danced across its camera feed. And then, without any signal sent, its data began transmitting back to the ship. "Sir," a technician called out, voice tight, "we're receiving images." But we didn't request them. On screen, blurry shapes formed. Hallways, vaults, machinery unlike anything modern aliens used. But the last image made the entire bridge fall silent. A chamber. At the center stood a massive figure, tall, armored, unmoving. Its eyes were dark, but the plaque beneath it was clear. Guardian Protocol. Active. Then the feed cut. Named from the past Captain Tarsik ordered the data analyzed. The language on the plaque matched old Earth Files records that hadn't been touched in centuries. "It's pre-Exodus human script," said their linguist. But translated, it means Guardian Protocol. Active. "What does that mean?" asked Yalzar. The linguist looked pale. "It means someone is still watching. Maybe something that never died." A silence followed. Most of the Varn crew had believed humans were extinct victims of their own wars or time itself. Earth was supposed to be a dead world, filled with ruins and ashes. But now it felt like a trap, whispers from the system as the Varn crew debated. Their next step, something strange occurred in the ship's data feed. A new message appeared, not sent by radio, not picked up by antenna. It simply appeared on every screen at once. "You were warned." Alarms blared. Doors locked, lights dimmed. A low hum filled the air as the ship's engines began to overheat. Shouted, "Full retreat. Pull us out of orbit." But the helm officer cried, "We're not in control." The Claw of Dominion began to spin slowly in orbit, like a leaf caught in a storm, yet no force could be seen pulling it. Outside, the stars blinked unnaturally. And then the main screen returned, a face human pale, sharp-eyed, unmoving like a statue carved from stone. It wasn't alive, but it looked alive. Behind it, the ruins glowed faintly blue. The voice returned. "This is Earth's final warning. Step back or be judged." The choice Tarsik stared at the image, sweat forming on his thick brow. Bluff. It must be a machine. Nothing can challenge the Varn Empire. But his voice was not as strong as before. He looked to his officers. Half of them avoided his gaze. Some looked afraid. Others looked ready to run. Yalsar stepped forward. "Captain, this may not be a fight we can win. Let's retreat and regroup. The Council must know Earth is not what we thought." Tarsik's pride flared, but he also knew fear. He had seen warships fall. He had heard the screams of dying soldiers. But this was silence, precision, and control. The kind of power that needed no weapons to dominate. The last order finally, he growled, "Fine, plot a jump. Get us out of this cursed system." The ship's engines fired. Systems began to return just as the signal vanished. It had let them go, but as the ship pulled away from Earth's orbit, something followed them. Not a ship, not a weapon, a signal. A single word, repeated in every Varn language. "Watched." Captain Tarsik didn't speak for hours after the Claw of Dominion jumped out of Earth's orbit. He just sat in silence, staring at the blank screen in front of him. The crew around him worked quietly, afraid to even breathe too loudly. Something had shaken their captain, a warrior, known for tearing apart fleets without hesitation. But this time, they had all seen it. The face, the voice, the control, and worst of all, the warning. The council meeting begins back on Varn Prime. The Galactic Council had gathered in one of their vast golden chambers. Dozens of species sat in tall chairs shaped like their homeworlds. Every empire had sent a representative, some powerful, others cowardly, all curious. Tarsik entered the chamber flanked by guards. The hall grew quiet. His name carried weight. Everyone expected tales of conquest, maybe even an announcement that Earth had been fully taken. Instead, Tarsik stopped in the center of the hall, looked up, and said only this: "Earth is not empty. It is watching." Gasps echoed through the chamber. The Solari ambassador leaned forward. "What do you mean?" Tarsik's voice was low. "We sent drones. They were disabled. We sent messages. They were answered. Systems were taken from us. Our warship was locked, controlled. We saw a face. We heard a voice." "Human?" asked the Malik ambassador. "No," Tarsik replied. "More than that. It looked human, but it spoke like something older." Council laughter and doubt. Some council members laughed. Others whispered to each other. The Grawl Confederacy's ambassador clicked its jaws and said, "You mean to tell us the Varn Empire was beaten by a ghost?" Tarsik's eyes narrowed. "I am not asking you to believe me. I am telling you what happened. If you want proof, send your own ships. But Earth is not what we thought. They didn't attack us. They didn't threaten us. They only said one thing." He paused, letting the words sink in. "You were warned. The debate begins, Council." Leaders argued for hours. Some said it was a trick, an old machine, still running automatic defense systems. Others believed Tarsik. They knew the Varn Empire didn't scare easily. And if they had retreated, maybe there was something dangerous beneath Earth's surface. But politics moved slowly, and fear was not enough to convince the Council to act. They postponed action, filed reports, demanded more data. By the time the Council finished arguing, it was already too late. Unauthorized mission far from the Council, in a quiet corner of space, a group of privators had been listening. One of them, a former Solari Navy officer named Vera, saw an opportunity. "Earth's full of human tech," she told her crew. "Ruins, systems, vaults untouched for thousands of years. If it's waking up, that means one thing: power. Her. Crew was mixed. Smugglers, treasure hunters, and scientists kicked out of their academies. They didn't care about warnings. They wanted relics, data, and riches. They named their ship the Finder's Gamble and set course for Earth. Be the first to return after Tarsik. Landing on Earth, they arrived above Earth 3 days later. No one stopped them. No voice greeted them. No signal locked their ship. Veyra smiled. See? Tarsik panicked over nothing. This planet's dead. They landed near the same ruins the Varn drones had found. The area was cold, quiet. But there, scanners showed movement deep underground. They descended, flashlights cutting through the darkness. Symbols lined the walls. Human text, old, ancient. But power cables still pulsed with energy. Then they reached it. The chamber at its center was the same armored figure Tarsik had seen. Still standing, still silent, but this time, its eyes were glowing. Contact Vera stepped forward. You're human tech, right? What are you? The figure didn't move. She tried again. We're not here to fight. We're here to understand. Help us. Still no answer. She turned to leave, then the door slammed shut behind her. The air grew heavy. Her ears rang. Her vision blurred. Then, without warning, every screen on her gear lit up. Words appeared. Not a voice. Just this. No more. Warnings. The room went white. Only static when the council later received Vera's ship beacon. They found it drifting above Earth. The hull was intact. The power systems were fine, but there was no one on board. No signs of life. Only one message repeated, endlessly through the ship's speakers. The Guardian is awake. The drifting ship Finder's Gamble became the center of galactic panic. Varn warlords, Solari scientists, and even black market AI dealers tried to decode the last signal it sent. The Guardian is awake. No one understood what it meant. Was the Guardian a machine? A weapon? A warning system? But one thing was certain. Earth was not empty. And it had decided to respond. Earth changes from orbit. Satellites picked up strange activity. The surface of Earth dead and silent for thousands of years began to shift. Rivers that had long dried up began flowing again. Power grids untouched. By time, flickered to life. The ruins of Earth's megacities, once broken by war, started repairing themselves. Walls grew taller. Towers stood again. Energy shields formed above them. But the most terrifying thing wasn't what they saw. It was what they didn't. No humans. No bodies. No signs of life. Only machines. They worked day and night, moving through rubble, rebuilding cities, restoring power without speaking a single word. The return of the dreadnought above Earth's North Pole. Something massive broke through the clouds. A human dreadnought, twice the size of any modern ship, built like a fortress, covered in black armor that bent light itself. It had no crew, no name. It wasn't in any galactic registry. It had been asleep beneath the ice. The dreadnought rose silently into orbit and parked itself above the planet. Its weapons powered on, but did not aim. The message it sent to every known frequency was short. This is Earth. We are reclaiming what was lost. The Council's panic back at the Galactic Council. Chaos spread like wildfire. Arguments filled the chamber. This is impossible. They were extinct. They said we destroyed them. Ambassador Kirel, from the wise and ancient Arani species, stood and raised her voice. You fools! You thought humans were gone because you wanted them to be gone. But we never confirmed their destruction. We simply turned away. Tarsik, who still bore the memory of his encounter, stood too. I warned you, and now it's begun. Begun? Asked a voice from the shadows. Yes, he replied grimly. Earth is not just waking up. It is preparing for something. The first interference in a distant system, a mining colony owned by the Varn Empire, went dark. No distress call. No explosion. Just silence. When scout ships arrived, they found something strange. Every system was frozen. Not destroyed. Locked. Doors sealed. AI overwritten. Equipment still glowing, but completely unresponsive. And in the center of the control hub, burned into the metal floor, were 5 words. This system is under reclamation. The Guardian's voice. The Guardian, the armored figure beneath Earth, finally spoke again, but not to the galaxy. It spoke to Earth's machines. Across the rebuilt cities, across deep bunkers and hidden vaults, robotic units stood still as the Guardian's voice echoed inside their systems. Protocol 10. Initiate full recovery. Begin data restoration. Erase all external influence. Gates opened. Ancient weapons hummed to life, and the skies filled with automated drones moving like birds, scanning space, watching everything. For the first time in 3,000 years, Earth was fully awake. The Ghost fleet out past the asteroid belt, near the old edge of Sol system. A Varn patrol squad spotted strange signatures. Dozens of ships. They were human-based on ancient design, but they weren't moving. Derelicts? The Varn captain asked. No, his science officer replied. They're not dead. They're waiting. He sent the probe closer. The moment it neared the ships, all of them lit up. Engines, shields, weapons. And one by one, their identification. Tags appeared. Names like Retribution Eden's Hammer, No More Warnings. The last ship didn't broadcast a name. It sent a message, just one word. Observe. The Varn fleet turned back immediately. A hacker's mistake in the shadows of the galactic net. A skilled hacker named Korn attempted to break into Earth's systems. He thought if he could access the Guardian's signal, he could sell the data for a fortune. He connected through 3 relay satellites, bounced his signal through pirate hubs, and finally reached Earth's outer net. But before he could run a single code, his screen went black. Then a new window opened. A live feed of himself. In real time. The Guardian's voice came through. You should not have tried. Corin's entire system melted from the inside. His ship lost control. It drifted into a black hole's gravity. Minutes later. No one ever found him. The message to the galaxy 2 days later. Every screen across every planet lit up at once. Guardian stood tall in a ruined Earth hall, surrounded by glowing machines. His voice filled the stars. We are not your enemies. We are the memory of Earth. You watched us burn and turned away. But we are not here for revenge. We are here to restore balance. The image zoomed out. A map of the galaxy appeared. Dozens of red markers blinked systems under alien control that once belonged to humanity. Then the voice continued. You took our children, our worlds, our legacy. We will take them back. And the message ended. Some flee. Some prepare. The Varn Empire declared martial law. The Solari Confederation began moving fleets to the edge of human space. Other smaller species tried to reach out with peace envoys, but no response came. Earth wasn't talking anymore. It was moving. A silent launch back on Earth. In a hidden valley near what was once Colorado, a mountain split open. Inside was something no one expected. A living ship. Not metal, not pure machine, but something mixed with bio. The bridge of the Varn command ship was dark. Emergency lights flickered red. No one spoke. Everyone was still trying to process what had just happened. The human signal had returned. But it wasn't just a message this time. It was a voice. Calm, cold, and powerful. This is Earth, the voice repeated. You were warned. Captain Jural clenched his jaw. Find the source of that transmission. Now, one of the tech officers struggled with the console. "Sir, the signal is not coming from the planet." "What?" Jural turned. "It's coming from within our own systems. It's inside the ship. Across the Varn fleet, the same message played. Over every system, over every screen, you were warned." Suddenly, the command ship's holographic display flared to life. A single image appeared, a vast, black triangle, smooth, silent, and slowly rising from the ruins of Earth's surface. It wasn't just a ship. It was massive, dwarfing even the largest Varn war cruiser. The tech officer's voice shook. That's not possible. That ship, it's over 20 kilometers long." Jural stepped back in disbelief. "It can't be human. No species builds ships that size." Then the transmission changed again. Now, it wasn't just a voice. It was a face. A human face. Pale, calm, with piercing blue eyes and a deep scar running down one cheek. "I'm Command Director Alan Voss of Earth Defense Archive. This system is under Terran protection. You will leave, or you will be destroyed." The bridge crew went silent. Jural laughed nervously. "Is this some kind of trick? A leftover recording?" As if in response, alarms began to wail. "Unknown object inbound," the ship's AI announced. "Subspace rupture detected. Vessel approaching at impossible velocity." "Show me." Jural barked. The screen zoomed out. From deep space, something tore through reality. A ripple in the stars. A black wedge burst out of subspace like a spear. The same ship from the transmission. The Archive class. Human warship, but it was no longer buried. It was active, moving with purpose. "Shields up," Jural ordered. Too late. As the Archive class ship moved into view, all 37 Varn ships lost power. Every weapon, every engine, every system. Dead. The humans hadn't fired. They had spoken. And everything. "Stop." The human voice echoed once more. "This is Earth. We are not extinct. We are not forgotten. And we do not forgive." Panic erupted on the bridge. "Reactors offline. Weapons frozen. We've lost control of the fleet." The Varn were the most feared species in the sector. But now, they couldn't even move. Jural stepped forward, his voice a whisper. What have we awakened?" The screen showed the human warship slowly turning, facing the Varn fleet. That had stopped. Another voice spoke. "A different human? Young, calm, curious. So, you're the ones who thought no one could stop you." That line shattered something in the room, not because it was loud. But because it felt like the beginning of the judgment. The Archive ship released a soft hum. Across the Varn fleet, one by one, systems came back online, but the weapons stayed locked. The message was clear. You are allowed to live. But Earth has seen you, and it never forgets. The Varn fleet drifted like broken toys in orbit. Their engines were online, but they didn't dare move. Their weapons were powered, but locked. Every screen still showed the human warship, the Archive, floating silently above Earth's surface, not firing, not advancing, just watching. On the bridge of the Varn command ship, Captain Jural stared at the screen in silence. "I've never felt like this," he whispered, powerless. No one answered. Even the crew's usual discipline had broken. Officers whispered, some shaking, others refusing to meet anyone's eyes. The fear wasn't just of the ship. It was of what Earth had become. For centuries, the galaxy had believed Earth was gone, destroyed, forgotten. But now Earth had spoken, and the galaxy had gone cold. "Commander," one of the tactical officers said finally, "should we send a message?" "To who?" Jural asked bitterly. "To Earth? They already spoke. To our High Council? They were the ones who said Earth was dead." Another voice interrupted, calm, female, clear. "Varn fleet, This is archive control. You are no longer considered a threat. You will return to your space. You will not come back." Gerald took a breath. "And if we do?" The voice did not pause. "Then the archive won't be the only thing that wakes." That silence that followed was worse than 1,000 threats. Suddenly, the tactical map on the Varn screen updated. New contacts. Dozens. Hundreds dot from the eye. Far edges of the system. From undermoons. From deep beneath Earth's ruined crust, human ships were rising. Silent. Ancient. And massive. Some were black as void. Others shimmered like starlight. None had any known design. They weren't in any galactic records. These weren't warships the Varn had ever seen. These were relics. Sleeping titans of a forgotten age. What are those? An officer breathed "JURAL." Didn't answer. He couldn't. The display showed one of the vessels locking onto a Varn scout ship. It didn't fire, just focused, and the scout ship's hull began to warp slowly, crushed from within, folding into itself like paper. The crew watched in horror as the ship disappeared. No explosion. No wreckage. Just gone. The archive spoke again. Earth was betrayed once. We prepared for it to happen again. Leave now, or you will never leave at all. Gerald knew what he had to do. Send the signal, he told his comms officer. Tell the entire fleet to retreat. Set course away from this system. Full speed. But Captain, someone objected. Our orders are worthless, Gerald snapped. This isn't just a dead planet. It's a graveyard. Full of gods. And they're waking up. The Varn ships turned as they slowly backed away. None of the human vessels moved. Not a single weapon fired. But that made it worse, because the message was clear. Earth didn't need to chase you. It only needed to be known. JURA. All watched the dark blue planet fade into the distance. And for the first time in his life, he felt something he didn't know existed. Regret. When the Varn fleet returned to their homeworld, they expected punishment. They expected anger from the high command, but they brought something far worse. Fear. The footage they captured of the archive, of the message from Earth, and of the mysterious. Ships rising from the dead planet spread like wildfire through the Varn Empire. Within days, every major power in the galaxy had seen it. Meetings were called. Emergency councils formed. The galactic core buzzed with panic. And for the first time in centuries, Earth became the center of every discussion. In the Grand Council Hall of the Orion Union, leaders from dozens of species sat in silence. Holograms of Earth's ancient ships hovered above them. One elder spoke. This cannot be true. Earth is dead. Their systems were shattered during the collapse era. No life signs, no transmissions for 1,000 years. The Varn ambassador stood up. His voice shook. We saw them. We heard them. Earth isn't dead. It was hiding, waiting. Another ambassador, gray-skinned, four-eyed, spoke coldly. If Earth truly survived, why reveal itself now? The Varn replied, because we pushed too far. We ignored the warnings. And they woke something we cannot understand. A younger, race's representative, small-scaled, nervous, raised her voice. What if? What if Earth is angry? What if it wants revenge? Whispers filled the hall. Even the powerful were unsettled. Then the door opened. Everyone turned. A tall humanoid figure stepped in. Dressed in black, his face partly hidden under a smooth visor. He wore no armor, no weapon, no guards. But the room went dead silent, because they all knew what he was. Human. He didn't speak at first. He walked calmly to the center of the room and tapped a small device. A glowing map of the galaxy appeared, highlighting Earth's position. Then, he finally spoke. His voice was calm, but it cut like ice. You thought we were gone. You thought the silence meant death. But the silence was our answer. A counselor stood. You can't just appear here. Earth has no seat on this council. You are not recognized. The human turned to him. You stopped recognizing us. Not the other way around. The counselor sat down. The human continued. For 1,000 years, Earth watched. We saw your wars. We saw your cruelty. We saw how quickly you turned on one another. On us. A pause. He looked around the room, making eye contact with each. Species present. You abandoned us, left us to burn. And now you ask why we prepared? One brave diplomat spoke. What do you want? A human smiled, just a little. Nothing. We are not here to rule, not here to fight. We only ask for one thing. The room leaned in. Stay away. Gasps. Protests began to erupt. You can't declare a system off limits. This is a threat to galactic order. The human raised his hand, and suddenly, everyone in the room went silent. Not by choice. Their mouths froze. Their bodies locked. A silence field. He had shut them up literally. We do not threaten. We warn. You had your chance to be allies. You chose to forget us. So we chose to evolve alone. He tapped the device again. Dozens of human ships appeared in orbit on the hologram. Some marked with symbols no one recognized. Some glowing with energy that seemed alive. If you come to Earth again, we will not send another warning. With that, he turned and left. When he was gone, the silence field faded, and the council fell into chaos. But none of them dared send a fleet. Not anymore, because Earth had spoken. And this time, the galaxy listened. The council chambers remained. In chaos for days. Emergency messages were sent to fleets. Patrols were pulled back from the outer rim. Ships near Earth's borders were ordered to retreat. No one dared to make the next move, because the last time they did, Earth replied, and it spoke with silence more terrifying than war. In the shadows of deep space, Earth watched. From orbiting stations cloaked in tech no other species could trace, from satellites hidden inside dead moons, and from ships that looked like drifting wrecks. Earth saw everything, and it remembered. It remembered the betrayal of the Galactic Council, who sealed off Earth during the dark years and left it to die. It remembered the screams of the colonies that begged for help when alien warlords came. And it remembered how not one ship ever answered. Inside the Coromine vault, far below Earth's surface, the Council of Humanity met for the first time. In decades, they weren't politicians anymore. They were guardians, leaders from the colonies. AI fragments from ancient human minds, enhanced survivors of past wars, all gathered to decide Earth's next step. An old voice spoke. It came from a machine that once held the last president of Earth. They fear us again. Another voice replied, cold, sharp, clearly synthetic. Good, let them fear. It buys us time. A third voice, deep and human, cut in. Do we strike? A long pause. Then the oldest AI, one who had watched the stars since the collapse, answered, no, we wait. We grow. We protect. And if they come? This time, a new voice spoke, young, female, human, a new leader, one who had grown up in the underground cities, raised by silence and shadows. Then we show them why Earth stopped speaking. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, strange things began to happen. Scout ships disappeared in uncharted space. Data from probe drones near Earth became corrupted files rewritten into messages. Do not return. Weapon systems near the Sol sector began to fail, not from damage, but from internal sabotage. As if someone had already been there. As if Earth had already reached inside. The Varn Empire's capital was struck by a sudden blackout one night. Power failed across the planet for 13 full seconds, and when it came back online, every screen showed the same image. A human eye, watching, whispers spread that Earth had not just hidden. It had evolved, that its silence was not weakness, but preparation, that its people had merged with their machines, with their history, with their pain. Then now, Earth was something new. Something the galaxy had never seen before. Back on Earth, a girl stood at the edge of the great dome, the rebuilt capital. Above her, through the glass, she could see the stars. She had never been to space, but she knew one day she would. Behind her, a soldier approached. Not just a soldier, an echo. One of Earth's secret protectors. "Are you ready?" he asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she turned, smiled slightly, and said the words every child on Earth now learned from birth. "We do not forget. We do not forgive. But we do not fall." The soldier nodded. Double quotes. Then come. It's time. As she walked toward the ship waiting for her, the Earth trembled not in fear, but in power. No longer needed to scream. Its silence spoke louder than any weapon. And now the galaxy would learn. Earth speaks only once. After that, only silence remains.